Hi everyone, Joko here again. So today I have another video on the NUX Trident. On my last video, I talked about my greatest guitarists of all time, and for this video, I'm gonna talk about my modern heroes who continue to inspire me to get better in what I do. But before moving forward with this video, I hope you guys could do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button, cause that small gesture helps my channel in a big way. Alrighty? Let's go. So again, this is the NUX Trident. I have been using this baby for quite some time now, and hopefully by the time you watch this video, it will already be available at your local music store or distributor. So like I said earlier, for this video, I'm gonna try to sound like my guitar heroes from the modern era using this baby. I'm calling this set of patches my Modern Heroes preset pack. First is Aaron Marshall of Intervals, who is, in my opinion, one of the best guitar instrumental songwriters of the modern guitar era. He's pretty much a modern day Eric Johnson for me with his storytelling and his use of chords, chordal melodies, and his vocal-esque lines, which is pretty much how I try to play. I just love all of his songs, but I guess my all-time fave would be Belvedere, and his guitar tone in that album is my all-time fave as well. Alright, so here's my Aaron Marshall chain. So I'm here at the Trident Tone Editor, the software editor that comes with the Trident. You can download it at the product page of the Trident, nuxfx.com. So here's my chain. So first with the amp, I have the Fireman model here. Here's my tone settings. The presence is at 40, the treble is at 70, mid's at 65, bass at 40. I dialed down the bass because the sound of the amp is really warm and bassy, so I had to dial that down. The master is at 45 and gain is only at 41. I don't like to dial my gains really high because when I dial it too much, the tone tends to get too chewy and you wouldn't understand the sound of the notes anymore. Alright, so the bias is at 68 and the level is at 51. Then the IR I used, the cab I used was the Rect 4112. It's an emulation of a dual rectifier cab 4x12 and an SM57 mic at the center. Yeah, just like how Aaron Marshall likes it. I remember he said that the best way to capture a cab sound is an SM57 straight up, so I did that here. Alright, so I have a noise reducer, noise gate here. Then the boost I have is a T-Screamer overdrive. So here's my settings for the overdrive. I have my drive at 0, the level's at 100, the tone is at 53. Yeah. And here I think is one of the most crucial elements of the sound is the chorus. Yeah, I remember one of his gear walkthrough videos that he likes adding chorus to his leads, so I did that as well here. So I used the ST chorus or stereo chorus. So here's my tone settings. The awesome thing about this chorus is it has an EQ, so you can control the bass and the treble. So here's my settings for that. The bass is at 65, treble's at 55. The intensity is only at 36, yeah. The width is at 15, the rate is at 65. For the delay, I remember he said he used a BBD type of delay, so I used that here. So the repeat rate is at 402 milliseconds. You can adjust that however you want, depends on what song you're doing, depends on the tempo of the song, you can adjust that accordingly. The echo is at 19 and the intensity is at 30. Alright. And just to put it all together, I have a reverb at the end of the chain just to make it sound way bigger. I used a large hall reverb. It's actually my favorite reverb here. I also love the plate reverb, but I tend to zone in on the large hall reverb here. So that's the Aaron Marshall chain. Next on my list is Mr. Cory Wong. when it comes to funky stuff and rhythmic storytelling, he is my guy. I mean, he's arguably one of the most dynamic rhythmic guitar players today. I know shredding on your guitar feels awesome, but telling a story with chords and rhythm speaks a lot in terms of one's musicality. Alright, so my Cory Wong patch is this. First, I have a compressor, which I think is the most important piece of the rig. So I have the threshold at max here, actually 98 or sometimes max. The levels at 82, the ratios at 97. So basically I maxed out the compressor. So the gain's only at 52, so it won't clip. So the comp time is really fast. I have a fast attack and a fast release. So next is the amp. I used a Jazz Clean. Yeah, I know Cory Wong uses a twin reverb live, but I just feel that the Jazz Clean sounds really warm and very straightforward. It's super clean. Yeah, it's a solid state amp, almost no breakup. So my settings here is I use the low input so the guitars wouldn't sound that hot. The bright switch is turned off. My gain is at 32, the bass is at 50, the mids is at 43, the trebles at 43 as well. Yeah, I really went for a bassy sound because Cory Wong has that really thick rhythm sound. So for the cab, I used a deluxe reverb model. It's the Black 112. The mic I used is a U87, which I think is a Neumann emulation. Then I placed the mic at the middle. Yeah. In my opinion, using condenser mics for your clean tone sounds really better because it captures the whole spectrum of the tone. It has a wider dynamic range than the SM57. SM57s are really good for heavy distorted tones if you want to focus on that mids. But if you really want to have a nice clean tone, a nice and dynamic clean tone, I suggest go for condensers. Yeah, which is what I did here. My EQ settings is this. You can just get a snapshot of this. So here's my tone settings. Yeah, so I dialed down the mids a bit and dialed up the bass. Yeah, to get that thick rhythm sound. That thick sound, thick with a double C. Just kidding. Alright, so that's my EQ settings. Then for the delay, yeah, I have a delay in my clean rhythm sound, but it's mostly for a slapback effect, if you can hear that. Here. Yeah, I really love that slapback effect. Then to piece it all together, I have a reverb, a room reverb, just to make it sound big. Yeah, so that's basically my Cory Wong patch. Alright, so I got a lot of comments from my last video where I featured my goats, asking where is Guthrie Govan on my list. Guthrie is really awesome, and for me, he's one of the great guitar players who have set and is still currently the standard of jazz fusion guitar playing. I actually met him once when he did a clinic here in the Philippines, and he's a really cool and chill dude. So if I would do a top 10 or a top 20 of my favorite guitar players, he will be there for sure. Larry Carlton would also be on that list, who I got the opportunity to do something with a few years ago. But for me, when it comes to jazz fusion, my modern hero and all-time fave would be a fusion of the two. And for me, that guy is Alex Hutchings. I actually met him at the 2017 NAMM show. Super great guy. He let me play with his pedal board at the Boss showroom. His technique is as flawless as Guthrie's, but I prefer his tone more. Guthrie's tone is a bit dry for my taste, and Alex's for me has just the right amount of wetness, so the notes come out more sweet sounding. His melodic sense is also, I would say, is in the same atmosphere with Larry Carlton, so because of those reasons, Alex Hutchings is on my list of my modern guitar heroes. That's actually my favorite Alex Hutchings song, Happy Days. So let me walk you through my tone for that. So for my favorite Alex Hutchings tone, I went with his lead sound, which is my favorite fusion lead sound. So for that tone, I started with the amp. Here I used the Lion Star amp model, which has a really nice drive sound and a really thick drive sound. Really awesome for jazz fusion lead sounds. Yeah. So first I went with the thicker mode, the amp here. The drive is at 73, the gain's at 68, the treble's at 74, the mids is at 59, the bass is at 40. I dialed down the bass a bit because the amp is already really bassy. Yeah, and the presence at 76 and the master is at 80. Then the cab I used is a B bottom 412 VH4 412 amp model, and I used a condenser mic, a U87. Yeah, I just really wanted to capture the full spectrum of the amp, the thickness and the bite of the amp. So the bias is at 51, the level's at 50. Alright, so I used a noise gate at the front of the rig. Then the boost is a T-Screamer. Here's my settings for that. The drive's at 69, wink wink, I'm joking. The tone is at 45, the level's at 65. Then it goes straight to the delay. I used a digital delay because I know he uses these types of delays in his rig. Yeah. And the reverb is a spring reverb. I just need that trebly reverb sound for this warm tone, just to balance it out. Yeah. So that's my Alex Hutchings lead sound. Okay, I know a lot of you are thinking that I saved the best for last. Well, I'm sure a lot of you would agree with me that he's one of the best guitarists in the modern era. And this dude I'm talking about is none other than Tim Henson of Polyphia. Tim is arguably one of the most innovative and influential guitar players today, most especially for young guitarists like me. His guitar skills, I would say, is the modern benchmark. His technique is flawless, and his creativity is absolutely mind-blowing and is pushing the guitar art form forward. As for tone, my favorite would be, of course, his clean tone. Alright, so here's my tone settings for Tim Henson. So first I have the Class A30 amp here. It's a Vox AC30 emulation. I set it at the high input. The gain's at 43, the treble's at 63, the bass is at 58. The tone cut is 0 because why would you cut your tone? Tim's tone is more on the trebly side, so I went for 0 here at the tone cut. Here, the master is at 61, the level's at 59. So the cab I used is this. I used a custom 412 high wire, an SM57 at the edge. Then, I think one of the most important parts of Tim's tone is the compressor. So here's my compression settings. I used the Dynacomp compressor. As you can see, I maxed out the sensitivity. The output's at 60. Then that's pretty much it. Then I put a reverb at the end just to tie it all up. Here, I used a hall reverb. Here's my settings. So yeah, that's basically my Tim Henson tone. Alright, so those are the 4 modern guitar players who I would say heavily influenced me, inspired me, and most definitely challenged me to be better at my guitar playing. So how about you? I want to know your guitar heroes, so let me know in the comments below. So if you have the NUX Trident and want to give these patches a try, you can download them for free through the link in the description below. And if you like this video as much as I had fun doing it, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet to help out this channel and help me make more videos like this. So right now I'm gonna imagine myself as my guitar heroes while having fun with these patches. Again, thanks for watching and keep pushing. Bye-bye.